BJ Mafia, what's poppin'? So Jags fans, happy Sunday afternoon. As of right now, we're kind of in the middle of a dead point in the offseason. There's not really a lot of interesting things going on. I know that within the next 2 weeks, training camp is gonna begin, and that a lot of us are gonna be in attendance for this year's training camp, and I will be Saturday, July 29th. I'm extremely excited to get back up to Jacksonville, watch my team, really be back in the city, and then also just be around the fan base in general. Looking forward to meeting a lot of you guys while I'm back up there. But Jags fans, we've got even bigger news on this Sunday. Tight end Evan Engram has reached an extension with the Jaguars on a 3-year, $41 million contract extension, $24 million of that guaranteed. And I gotta say right here, right now, I am so extremely excited for a guy in Evan Engram, a guy who's well deserving of that money, not only with his production on the field this past season for the Jaguars, 73 receptions, 766 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was a catalyst for why Trevor Lawrence had such a developmental year in year 2, and you saw him take that sophomore surge. Evan Engram's a great guy in the locker room. He really helps bring another dynamic element to this offense, and that's why Doug Peterson wanted him to come here to Jacksonville. But to me, the most important thing with Evan Engram is he's a guy who wants to be here in Jacksonville. He embraces Duval County. He embraces what this Jacksonville Jaguars team is doing and what we're gonna be doing moving forward. He loves this fan base. The fan base rallies around him. And Evan Engram, to put it plain and simple, wants to be here in Jacksonville. When we have stars come to this team and we have guys that we develop and groom, and these guys want to be here in Jacksonville, pay these guys. Obviously, it's still a business. Obviously, there's dynamics of every situation, but we don't get a lot of guys here in Jacksonville that want to be here. And now we got a guy in Evan Engram. We have a guy in Josh Allen, guys who want to be here. Pay these guys, take care of your guys, and Evan Engram is absolutely deserving of that money. And moving forward, we're gonna see plenty of players, not just on this Jaguars roster, but other free agents wanting to come to Jacksonville moving forward because they want to be a part of this culture. They want to be a part of Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, and this young dynasty that we're gonna be building here in Jacksonville. And Evan Engram is just the first of many. He's very deserving of this money. Jags fans, let's kind of talk about this though. As I stated earlier, the Jaguars and Evan Engram reached a 3-year, $41.25 million contract extension, and $24 million of that's gonna be guaranteed. And then per Adam Schefter, Evan Engram had a franchise tag worth $11.345 million all along. So now the new deal tacks on 2 more years and another $29.905 million, which is gonna place him slightly under George Kittle's $15 million per year on average. And Evan Engram, to me, I think that this deal is very team friendly. I think that he got the money that he deserved. And when you remember what Evan Engram did, signing a 1-year deal coming to Jacksonville, really banking on himself after he had been ridiculed by the New York fan base and by the New York media, and maybe not everybody, but a lot of people, Evan Engram really had a resurgence in his career, and he was critical to the development of Trevor Lawrence and this offense. And that's why you saw Evan Engram, Christian Kirk, and Zay Jones all in their first year in Jacksonville, all post career highs across the board. 73 receptions, 766 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he caught 75.3% of his targets. Those catches were tied for 3rd, the receiving yards 4th, and his 475 yards after the catch were ranked 2nd among all tight ends in the NFL. He's a dynamic playmaker, and he was ranked the 8th best tight end in all of the NFL by his peers this past offseason. When you look at the huge improvement from Evan Engram, a lot of it had to do with his hands. He only had 3 drop passes this past season per PFF, compared to the 4 he had in 2021, the 3 he had in 2020, and the 11 that he had in his rookie season back in 2017. And it was really important for the Jaguars to go ahead and get this deal done, not only because the Jaguars have really lost a lot of depth at the tight end position, because the Jaguars lost Dan Arnold to the Philadelphia Eagles and Chris Manhertz to the Denver Broncos. Now the Jaguars were just left with Evan Engram on his 1-year deal prior to him signing that extension. Then you look across the board, we took Brenton Strange in the 2nd round out of Penn State. Then you were left with Luke Farrell, and now the Jaguars are gonna be looking now to have more stability at the tight end position, and that's what Evan Ingram's gonna bring there. And a lot of Jags fans, including myself, were extremely intrigued to see how Brenton Strange was gonna continue to develop after the Jaguars took him in the 2nd round, throughout training camp, throughout the preseason, and then into the regular season, because Evan Engram on that franchise tag was essentially just a 1-year rental after he signed that 1-year contract coming to Jacksonville. Now it was gonna be, hey, is Brenton Strange gonna turn into the tight end number 1 moving forward for the Jaguars? And we all know that won't be the case moving forward, as Evan Engram is now gonna be the tight end 1 moving forward, as he's locked up on that 3-year deal. But the thing you've got to know is with Doug Peterson on this offense is he always has multiple tight end sets, and he knows how to properly use his tight end. He's a tight end guru, and that's exactly what Doug Peterson is well known for. We saw that back in Philadelphia. Doug Peterson knows how to use these tight ends, and he gets the best out of him, and Evan Engram was obviously a product of that last season. And then another reason why the Jaguars desperately needed to lock up Evan Engram was not only for the continuous development of this team moving forward and having that other dynamic playmaker on the outside. The Jaguars, historically speaking, have struggled mightily when it comes to figuring out the tight end position and making sure that is a priority position that the Jaguars have locked up. When you look on the offensive side of the ball, the Jaguars have a franchise player at the quarterback position, at the running back position, at the wide receiver position, and now we've got our franchise tight end locked up. And then you look at a guy like Marcedes Lewis, who's obviously the best tight end in Jaguars history, and longevity has a lot to do with that. But in the 170 games Marcedes Lewis played, he recorded 33 touchdowns and 4,502 yards receiving. And Evan Engram, after just one lone season in Jacksonville, is already number 6 in Jaguars history in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns among the tight ends. He's right behind guys like Julius Thomas, like Marcedes Lewis, like guys like Kyle Brady, Damon Jones, Pete Mitchell. The list goes on. Even James O'Shaughnessy has more receiving yards than Evan Engram in one season. But by the time Evan Engram's tenure is up in Jacksonville at the end of his contract, whether he continues to stay or whether he moves on with his career, Evan Engram will be the greatest tight end in Jaguars history when it's all said and done. But Jags fans, this is a celebratory day in Duval County as we now have our future tight end 1 and our future greatest tight end in Jaguars history locked up now on this 3-year contract. The Jaguars have a prolific offense, and he's going to be still another dynamic playmaker for this Jaguars team moving forward and for the future of this team moving forward, alongside guys like Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, Brenton Strange, Evan Engram, Calvin Ridley coming into this offense alongside Zay Jones and Christian Kirk and Jamal Agnew. This Jaguars offense is going to be a force to be reckoned with. This Jaguars offense is going to be prolific. And man, I am so excited for this season. It can't come soon enough. And Jags fans, I know we're all itching to be there at training camp. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Jags fans, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below about the Jaguars going ahead and re-signing Evan Engram. What a day this was for the Jaguars and for the Jaguars front office. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. But Jags fans, if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. It takes 1 second and it helps me and the channel out tremendously. Make sure you guys also go ahead and hit that subscribe bell to stay tuned for more Jaguars content that I do here on YouTube. And make sure you guys also go ahead and follow me on my socials, especially on Twitter. I'm very active and I'm on there every single day. The link tree will be in the description down below, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But Jags fans, thanks again for sticking around throughout the whole video. Brett James, aka BJ, I'm out, y'all. Go Jags, baby. Peace.